And good morning and welcome to VSA Capital 5 Minute Morning Miner. It's Tuesday, October the 5th. And good morning, Paul. And my goodness me, it was chucking it down last night.
Yes, it did. Here where I live, it was a little before 5 in the morning when it really coming down. Yep.
Yeah, well, luckily it had stopped by about 6 o'clock in the morning. So that's when I jumped on my bike and I managed to get a dry ride in. But I can tell you what, there were some enormous puddles out there.
Well,
I mean, right across the road.
And they had some flash flooding in the Knightsbridge quarter too. So
Yeah, well, I sort of cycle in that sort of way up through High Street, Ken, past the Royal Albert Hall, down Long Hyde Park. Not that people need to know my cycle route. Anyway, I sense it's all quite quiet. Market's a bit nervy at the moment. And commodity prices probably sort of reached a level where actually buyers are just walking away because they're too high down the whole sort of value chain. So we probably just, peaked a little bit at the moment. But what news have you got out this morning, Paul?
well, I think I'll bring up the first one being the announcement from Altus Strategies, the AIM-quoted generative explorer in Africa. They and their joint venture partner Marvel Gold have updated the resources on the Tabakoroli project in Mali to over 1 million ounces in compliant resources of gold now. That comes out to roughly 600,000 ounces in the inferred category and the remainder in indicated category for increases of about 7% and 24% respectively from the old resource statement. And about 70% of that is in the range of near surface for a possible open pit extraction above 150 meters in total depth. And they have more drilling targets yet to assess. It's pretty thick cover in this particular project area, though, so it takes a little bit of time to identify the mineral trends and get some drill holes into them. But very good progress they're making here on this one. It's big enough now at about 1.2 grams gold per ton to potentially be economic to develop.
Okay, and also, wasn't Tharissa one of your favorites, Paul?
Tharissa is one of my favorites, and good news there too. Tharissa being the dual listed Johannesburg and London Stock Exchange chrome and platinum group metals producer out of South Africa. Their Vulcan ultrafine chrome recovery plant has begun its cold commissioning after a $55 million US expenditure. And it should result in about a 20% increase in chrome production for Tharissa. And the other good news is that it's also, you'd have to consider it high tech because it's the first one of commercial scale globally to go for the ultrafine chromium in ore that otherwise ends up passing through to the dumps and tails of most other global operations. So we'll see how it works out for them, but good for them. It's on time and on budget by all indications.
Very good. Anything else you want to discuss this morning?
Yes, on the exploration front, I wanted to mention the TSX Explorer in Alaska called Polar X. Real interesting news there. They have come up with a new style of copper mineralization at their volcanic massive sulfide project up there in Alaska, the target specifically of Caribou Dome, where they already have some compliant mineralization, but the new style of mineralization is little droplets of native copper in basaltic andesite. And for the lay person there, this appears to be the flows which come away from the smoker type of vents on the seafloor. And the importance to this, to Polar X, is that these flows tend to where they're found elsewhere in other deposits globally, they tend to have quite a bit of volume extent to them. And they know that these basalts are over quite an area at Caribou Dome. So it's very encouraging, and they'll have to see what the actual average grade when the assays come back are.
But we've got to go underwater to get this?
They formed underwater, but the the deposits themselves are above the ground now, of course, like in Alaska and so forth, but they form underwater.
Right, so I'm going to get my scuba diving kit on. Fair enough. All right, anything else you call it a day there?
And Segalola, which is the Thor exploration, the first commercial scale gold operation in Nigeria, has reached a commercial operating stage. So that's good for them as well.
Okay, Thor is it's dual listed, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so it's not just TSX, it's also over here. I know that funny enough because my brother, who's a fund manager, owns some Thor because he invests in Nigeria. Someone has to, I suppose. Actually, it's got quite an interesting mining district, so it's quite interesting. Anyway, okay, Paul, that's enough for today. Thank you very much, and we'll speak again tomorrow.
Very good. Thank you.